Welcome. Bosede Olusola-Obasa is here with you. I told you I was going to be keeping you company this afternoon at 3:30. So I want to welcome you to Just Gist. We're going to be gisting, and we're looking at how personal attitudes may have strengthened or weakened the fight against the Covid-19 pandemic, particularly in Nigeria. So we're looking at you and I, Nigerians. We're looking at individuals. You know, I like to take whatever I do from the perspective of the individual person. And I'm going to be starting on a very beautiful note. Let me give you a quote that has a way of strengthening the reason why I think that you can make a lot of difference. The quote here says that never doubt that a small group of people who are thoughtful and committed can change the world. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Thoughtful and committed is a word for me. I want to welcome everyone who's joining me already. Welcome Adebayo, Oluwadamilola, Babalola, Mrs. Yekini for short. And welcome Olusola-OShare, welcome. Thank you for joining. All right, so today we are looking at how as personal attitudes affected positively or negatively the fight against COVID-19 in Nigeria. And I tell you, by the time we are done today, you will find out that if we can get attitude issues right, we'll be done by halfway winning this battle. Let's go. Welcome, Tabitha. So I'll keep welcoming everyone who is with me as we go on. But see, I have to run because I don't intend to be here for longer than 30 minutes. It's the same stretch of time that you usually would have me on radio that I intend to be here with you. So very, very serious. Thank you, Wumi Akinduro, for joining. All right, let me begin by saying that I welcome you once again. The reason of this timeout is to be able to show you the role of personal character, attitude specifically, in the winning or losing the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. And the item gist talks about what is important, what's the crux of the matter. So the gist here we're talking about what's the main thing. Welcome, Madam Philomena Aruna. Welcome, Bankole Edun. I welcome you all. So now let me go on straight. You know, sometimes this is going to be casual, like I said. Don't mind that I'm wearing shirts. So sometimes I'll be speaking pidgin, like, you know, so just let's flow. And whatever your thoughts are on this, I'll appreciate that you just let me have your thoughts as we go. So it's supposed to be a conversation, but I assure you that wherever you see this Bosede Olusola-Obasa, it is value addition or nothing else. All right, so welcome once again. So we're here to put things in proper perspective. Now let's begin to look at personal attitudes. What are attitudes? Attitudes talk about dispositions that people have. I'm just going to be a simple one. Dispositions that people have to something or to people. Most of the time, our attitude define the way we react or relate or react or respond or relate to a thing or to people. So attitude is very, very important. One of the things that quickly get announced when things happen around you that are not favorable is your attitude. So how have you and I Bosede Olusola-Obasa, and you Bankole Edu, and you Philomena Aruna, and you Wumi Akinduro, and you Tabitha D, and you Olusola-Obasa, everyone who has joined me so far, how have we been able to, by our attitudes, strengthen or weaken the fight against the coronavirus pandemic? A lot has happened. Let me just refresh your mind about some of the things we've seen in the news recently. We've seen things like people crying that they are hungry or they cannot stay at home. I'm sure that you also have heard it. We are hungry. Yes, we know it's good to stay at home, but we cannot stay at home. We're hungry. Okay. So as they began to shout hunger, advocacy went forward. People began to raise money from everywhere to make food available. Don't worry. I know there are people who are making the food not to get to those who are supposed to have it. So you don't worry about that one. But see, let's talk about you and I. So maybe you even belong to those who say, oh, you're welcome Tosin, Oluwa-Lowo, and then Odunola Success. You're welcome. Now, so food began to come from churches. Food began to come from companies, both blue chip and those who are just starting. Individual families, even me, your humble self, began to do one thing or the other in our own different corner of the world, trying to make the burden lighter for people. Guess what happened next? There was this continuous barrage of talk about the fact that what they are giving is not enough. They should be able to do more. Wow. Attitude. It means that some people have a privileged mentality. A mentality that it's my right, not privilege now, right mentality. That I have a right to this thing. Welcome Ibukun Fashino Ajibade, I'm glad to have you. So, it means that some people have an attitude that is called a mindset that it's my right. A mindset that it's my right. It's my entitlement. Entitlement mindset. Now, with an entitlement mindset, you are hardly ever grateful for whatever people do. So what do I see on Facebook and everywhere? And I'm sure you see too, many people complaining of the fact that what they are being given is too small to be thankful for. Wow. How do you encourage those who are doing this to do more? We're looking at how personal attitudes may have helped to weaken or strengthen the fight against this virus. So I began from the place of stay at home, which would look like the most difficult part of it for everyone. That you don't go to work, that you stay at home, and then you are not earning anything, but you have to keep spending. Very difficult, I must agree. I haven't been to my physical office in like 4 weeks. I work from home because my kind of job allows me to. I do my meetings online, I meet my clients online. But you see, I've not been able to do the best that I can yet. So I am evolving also. So I'm saying that it's challenging for everyone. That cannot be overemphasized. But you see, when you discourage those who are giving things out just because you feel that you have entitlement mentality, that it's your right to have it, and if they are not giving it to you, they are hurting you and they are sinning against God. Do you want to hear? I will tell you the truth here. It's not true. Anyone who is giving anything out should be appreciated. Now, the person may have undergiven. Welcome, Aralola Chops. My dear sister, you're welcome. So, now, what they've given you might be small. In the real sense of it, some people might be able to afford more, and what they are giving is not what it should be. But you see, you owe gratitude. I want us to step down and get to, because I think a lot of people are losing their minds to this. You shouldn't. A lot of people are losing their reputation to this. You shouldn't. A lot of people go on the social media. Maybe that should lead me to what's happening on social media. Social media warriors. Hey! Bass goes. Fighting. Somebody posts something without understanding what the person is saying. You go, pam, 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 pam. What is wrong with being decent on social media? What is wrong with being decent on social media? What is wrong with knowing that people will never always speak from your point of view? What's wrong with knowing? You're welcome, my boss, Semi Okolawo. Thank you for joining. So what's wrong with being decent on social media? Up till today, I still saw a post and I was wondering, could this person have tuned down the language of responding to this issue? Yes, it could have. But it feels he have a right. It's my word. This idea of it's my word. It's your word. Did you buy it? It's your word. Did you pay for it? You are supposed to use it responsibly to project good values and to make the society better. That's what I think. What do you think? I'll be waiting for your comments. So I started from the fact that we're all asked to stay at home so that we can be safe. But people started crying hunger, and then there was plenty of advocacy. I know of individuals who came as group, concerned parents and educators, started with food basket like almost 1 month ago or thereabout, putting stuff together from their personal purses. Something makes you think that those who give have too much. You are wrong. Those who give and who have understanding of the reason for giving, give because they know that giving is what gives life. Not because they have a reservoir that is overflowing with plenty, and then they are giving you a widow's mite out of it. Whatsoever anybody gives you, like you've taught your children when they were young that they should be grateful, I beg to ask everyone out there to be grateful for whatever gets to you in this time. That's even if you feel that you should have it. Now, that goes to other people again who don't need to ask for relief materials, relief package, relief funding, and then everybody's shouting. Do we understand that if we are able to get to the people who are really vulnerable, we could be pushing this battle towards winning better than deciding to go the other way? So how has personal attitude really affected? Yes, my boss, Semi Okola, says it's a tough war out there on social media. And honestly, I don't think it should be. I think it's crop of people who need to be more mature. I don't want to call them immature. Let me say they need to be better matured. Because you see, I learned from Pastor Lumide Emmanuel. I like to reference him here. I learned from him that on every issue there are at least 3 views. And I hope I leave that with someone today that will help them stop being naughty on social media. Stop rubbishing your image. Stop positioning yourself as a loose person. Stop positioning yourself as an uncut person who doesn't have the proper attitude for being there. Don't forget that social media is real. That is the real world where all of us live today. So before you put out something there, no matter how hot it is, stamp down that pressure before you put that thing out there. Be sure that whatsoever you put out there, you can bear it, as in you can represent it. You can say, this is my brand. So, talking about what I was on before, people go out there, and I said, so there are 3 views. Let me not forget that. Number 1, your view. Everybody has a view. Number 2, the second person's view. Most times, if there are more than one person involved in trying to look at an issue, and people have different viewpoints. So your view, the second person's view, and then the actual view. Wow. Those of us who are journalists know that most of the time there is an actual view, the real thing. There is what you perceive as a journalist from going out to do your work day by day, and then there is what others want you to believe. So never get to any point in the world where you think that you have all the wisdom, all the knowledge, all the understanding, and no one who is talking around you has a point to say anything. When people talk on social media, could you be one of those responsible users of that platform? Let's have less of all these combats. I think it's because some people are overburdened with pressure and they just look for where to lash it out. It should never be like that. I welcome another boss of mine, Akin Remi. You're welcome. Thank you for joining me. That's my boss at Capital Market. I'm glad to have you. Now, so we've been talking about how has personal attitude helped to strengthen or to weaken the fight against COVID-19, the pandemic that we have on our hands, particularly in Nigeria. So we've seen people who think that it's my right. I have an entitlement mindset. People must give me, people must feed me, people must take care of me. Hello? Everyone who is taken care of must look for someone to take care of. So if what you needed was 10,000 naira to be able to stay afloat at this time, and someone graciously gives you 10,000, I must tell you, it is character and good attitude for you to look for someone who needs just 1,000 and minister to that person's need. That shows that you have the right attitude to winning this, because someone else's need is just nothing but 1,000 naira. So we're still looking at attitudes, personal attitudes, how it has weakened the fight. I've heard of people who go to places where food items are being shared, and then they'll wear a first dress, come and collect on the queue, go back, change to another dress, come back to the queue, collect another one, go back, change to another dress, come back 3 times, collecting from the same source. Do you know what you've just done? You have helped to make winning this battle more difficult. How? Because what could have gone to 3 people has come to just you. The person probably went out saying that, because I know that many of the people put this thing together and say, okay, we are reaching 400 families. They end up thinking that they have reached 400 families, and maybe they have just reached 200, because 200 people got what should go to 400 people. How? Why? These are personal issues. Don't tell me that this has to do with government. Government has its fault. Today I'm talking about you and I. You and I, you and me. May we talk. This is up to us. You can do something in your little corner to make this thing better. Many of us are taking advantage of the entire process, and I think that we shouldn't, because we will all be down for it at the end of the day. Now let me go to another thing that shows the okay, so the issue of something is small, something is small. I heard that some young men carried the bread that they were given, apart from accosting a van that was going to distribute bread and cutting away the bread, refusing it to be distributed the way it should. Some people also said that this bread is too small, and then they turned bread into football. Wow, who does that? Look, that is where you know that you have an entitlement mentality. And what it does to you is that it destroys you. It makes you continue to think that you must live on people and that everyone owes you everything. Shefegbo, nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything. These are hard-core truths that we must come to terms with. If you want to live life at its best, you must cut off all this kind of mindset, which project the kind of attitude, which shows in the kind of way that we our attitudes. Now, let me go to the issue of stigmatization. That is a major issue right now. Almost 200 people have been out of the health centers where they have been taken care of, the facilities where COVID-19 patients who have recovered were taken care of. And these survivors have gone home. The news is that stigmatization won't let them breathe. See, what stigmatization attitude will do and pattern will do to this fight is that it will make many people who have found out that they may have that issue not to show up, because they know that they will not have a society to come back to. So they'll rather stay in the house and die. Are we winning the battle that way? No, we are not. So the more advocacy goes out and you say that, okay, people come out, don't do this, don't do that, I think that you and I should stop stigmatizing. You know yourself, that you are there looking at me. You stigmatize. You know someone who just came from the center where they have been taking care of the health facility, and then you will not greet them anymore because of that. Well, confess to us that Agbon, we have to grow up. These attitudes will make it more difficult for us to win than for us to lose. Make it difficult to win than we would have expected them to be. What other thing? People who are entrusted with the responsibility of sharing and distributing relief items. Millions have gone, close to billions have gone into buying food for Nigerians who may need it, so as to be able to stay at home. And you probably have been asked to please take up the responsibility of distribution. What do? Distribute 20, put 50 in your house. You are saving for the rainy day. It's a very, very bad one. It is bad in that many of the people who are supposed to have this thing will not have it. And because they cannot have the food, they will go out on the streets. Whether we decide to relax the lockdown and open the economy after now or not is not the issue. The issue remains that some people need help. Some other people provided help. You were entrusted with that privilege to share. And then, hey, you are saving for your generations to come. Nobody does that and does well. These are real life issues. How have you been helping to strengthen this fight or to weaken it? I don't want to talk about government. Don't come to this place right now and talk about government. Let's talk about you and I. What are you doing personally to ensure that we win the battle against this pandemic in this side of the divide, here in our climate, here in Nigeria? So siphoning money, redirecting them, diverting them into your personal accounts, you are making it worse. You are worsening things, and you are one of the people that will not allow us flatten the curve of this early enough. You got to stop. I've talked about stigmatization. I've talked about siphoning. I've talked about privilege. What's it called now? Entitlement mindset. I'd like to go on again to others. Fake news. Fake news is another way that people have made it more difficult for us to win this battle. People just come together decide what to do, put a fake news out there, and everyone is soaking it in, particularly the gullible one among our population. When you put fake news out there and you get people to digest it, you are making it more difficult for us to win the fight. So you see, it's not just up to government. I know that many of us have lost trust in government over a long period of time. I know that it will take more than just the relief stuff they are dishing out or pushing out for us to think that they are truthful. I know that so many times they have even shifted the goalposts, like they will say, or done preferential treatment. So you don't want some people to be buried in a particular way, and you want some people to be buried in a particular way. So you don't want more than 20 people at any gathering, and you want social distancing rules fully upheld, and then you are burying a big man, and then you have to go reverse the rule one way or the other. You see, I know that things like that have a way of getting people upset. But should I give you a quote that will help you? A quote that will help you says, when you can't control what's happening, challenge yourself to control the way you respond to what is happening. That is where your power lies. I'll take the quote again. When you cannot change what is happening, when you cannot control what is happening, challenge yourself to control the way that you react to it, so that you will be able, okay, let me take it again. When you cannot control what's happening, challenge yourself to control the way you respond to it. That is where your power lies. You're welcome, Franca Opara. You're welcome. I'm glad to have you. So, we may not be able to control what is happening, but we can challenge ourselves to decide how we respond or react to it. I think we should do more of responding than reacting. All we've had most times is plenty of reactions, and many times we do them out of anger. We do them out of frustration. You may not be able to control what is happening, but you can challenge yourself to control you, the way you choose to respond to it. That is very, very crucial and important. I have another quote for you. So I'm trying to help us see that, yes, I understand that so many things are not the way they should be. I understand that we may have been disappointed by government severally. But I'm saying that you cannot sit down there and say that until government gets it right, we go nowhere. So this is another quote that I'm going to leave with you. Never doubt, I said it when I started, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Don't ever doubt the fact that a small group of committed and thoughtful citizens can change the world. You and I can create a lot of change. You can create a change in your community. I have advocated since this started for you minister to those in your environment. You don't have to go to a long distance to get it done, because we are even talking about reducing movement and all that. There are people within your vicinity. So, but we all must understand that you may not be able to control what is happening, but you can control the way you respond to it. Can we start controlling the way we respond to these things? Taking personal responsibility. I want to welcome Mr. John Adulo, and I can see Madam Moyoluwa-Olutayo. Thank you for joining. Now, we have tried, okay, so I can see my sister Amina. Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for joining. So, see, as I begin to gradually bring all this to a wind, behavioral change is important at this point. Attitudinal change is important at this time. COVID-19 pandemic has revealed the fact that many of us need to work on our attitudes. Many of us need to grow up. Many of us need to understand the fact that you don't have to make everything like dabaru everything just because you feel the pinch, you feel the pain. You may not be able to control what is happening, but you can challenge yourself to decide how you want to react. I'd rather have you respond than react. So we've been looking at so many things that we have seen in the news. And you know, what about people where, as in, their chop finish belle full, Their chop finish belle full inside lockdown. Because I told you sometime he go pinch me, I go talk for broken. See, I was born in the barracks, so broken is one of my, pidgin English. I want to say this in pidgin English so you can understand it very well. Some people, after eating and belleful, they now wore their sportswear and went to, what do you call it? Is it Bagada Road or whatever, BRT lane, and went and started doing exercise inside lockdown. Haba, those ones no be hunger. Those ones now, they want to feel, they want to exercise. Exercise in your room for as long as the lockdown subsists. When the lockdown is down, you can go to anywhere, and I bet you can't even try it on BRT lane when lockdown is out. So let's be responsible. I am going to be reeling out some of the attitudes that we are portrayed, or the other side of it that we should embrace. We are all learning. No one is perfect. But I'm here today to try and fish out more people that want to join me in being responsible citizens, because you can never ever underplay the power of a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens in terms of creating a change. I want you to join this. This is the bandwagon to jump on, not the other one. Do you know that many of the things that people do online is simply because of bandwagon effect? Everybody is abusing somebody on social media, and so you join them. Don't you have a brand to protect? Don't you have a brand to protect? Don't you have a brand to build? Don't you have a name? When the chips are down, don't you have a name? Have you ever seen people arrested and then they use their name to arrest another person? No. When the law needs to take its course, you will understand that you have a name. So why don't you start building your personal character, your personal brand, and then pep it with attitudes that move us forward? I have just a few minutes to be out of here. So what would I be leaving you with? You can make a difference. Let us stop this lack of contentment. Let us stop this lack of greed. Let us stop this greed, lack of contentment. Let's stop being self-centered. Let's stop being insincere. You refuse to tell us your travel history, yet you have come from one of the high-risk countries. You have gone to infect all those innocent doctors and nurses. Some of them have died. What have you gained? How has your attitude as a person helped to weaken or to strengthen this fight? So you see that a lot is in our hands. If we all decide to get it right, everything will become right, I tell you. So let's stop this lack of contentment. Let's stop this greed. Let's stop this self-centeredness. Let's stop this insincerity. And then let's stop this indiscipline. Stay in one place. The same thing that you tell your children and they obey you. You cannot obey simple rules. Lousiness, talking anyhow, being uncut with our speech, let's stop it. Let's stop being irresponsible. Let's be responsible members of this beautiful society. Let's stop being immature. Many of the things I see on social media show how immature a lot of people are. Please, let's get it right. And then stop weakening your brand. Strengthen your brand. Everything that you do is important. And maybe I should add, let's stop this show off. You don't have to come and announce what you are doing if it does not necessitate being announced. I can understand that corporate organizations need to do it for one reason or the other, but just be sure that your intentions are right. Because your intentions could do well to decide whether you get blessed for it or not. Let us stop the entitlement mentality. Let us stop this dishonesty. They gave you one. You say it's half. Let us stop it. Let us stop this lawlessness. We cannot afford to continue to be lawless and expect things to do well. If you look at other developed communities, you find out that this is what has been able to stand them out. They've been able to work together. Let's bridge every gap that is stopping us from being united. And then let's stop being insensitive. And finally, let's begin to show empathy. It's been a beautiful time being with you today. And I want to believe that you have enjoyed it. Now, it's been a gist. Thank you, Madam Munyolua. She said self-love should spur us to doing the right thing and doing things right. Madam Amina said this is the right spirit. Thank you. Tabitha did said be committed and thoughtful. And then, Mrs. Yolua said the spirit of the prophet is subject to the prophet. And then Mr. John Adulo said, well said, ma. Thank you. Mr. Odu Nola says, God bless you, Madam Bosede. You are doing well. Okay, I'm doing well, thank you. And then he acknowledges the fact that entitlement mentality must be stopped. One thing I know about life is that you can't satisfy people. Just make sure you do things to please God. That is Wumi Akinduro. Thank you so much. And then thank you, my boss. Thank you everyone who has joined me today. And for those who will watch this later, I gotta sign out now. And I will be here again on Tuesday. I'll give the shout out so you know when I'm live. And I'll be so glad to hang out with you. Thank you so much for letting me do this. I'm sworn to being a person of value. It's bye for now. Continue to be safe. And then listen to the main sources of news. Don't follow fake news. Be safe. Say me hi to everyone that you love. Bye.